Every great business you've ever heard of started with someone noticing something that annoyed them. Not a genius idea, not a $1 million invention, just a problem that nobody had bothered to fix yet. And here's the wild part. Most entrepreneurs stumble onto those problems completely by accident. But what if you didn't have to wait for accidents? What if you could train yourself to spot problems worth solving, on demand? In this video, you're going to learn exactly how entrepreneurs identify real problems, recognize genuine needs in the market, and turn everyday frustrations into business opportunities. We're covering 5 powerful techniques straight from the playbook of successful founders. And by the end, you'll have a completely different way of looking at the world around you. Let's get into it. Section 1. The problem-first mindset. Here's something most people get backwards. They think entrepreneurs start with a product idea and then go find customers. But the best entrepreneurs do the exact opposite. They start with a problem and then build the solution. This is called the problem-first mindset, and it completely changes how you approach opportunity. Instead of asking, "What can I sell?" you start asking, "What's making people's lives harder than it needs to be?" When you flip that question, suddenly problems are everywhere. The long wait at the doctor's office, the complicated tax form, the gym equipment that nobody actually knows how to use. The reason this mindset works so well is that it grounds your idea in reality. You're not guessing what people might want. You're observing what they already hate. And when you solve something people already hate, you don't have to convince them they need it. They already know. The trick is to start paying attention differently. Think about the last time you said, "There should be an app for this," or "Why does this have to be so complicated?" Those moments are data. Those moments are where businesses are born. But recognizing a problem is only step 1. The next question is this problem worth solving? And that's where our next technique comes in. Section 2. Need recognition frameworks. Not every problem deserves a business. Some problems are minor inconveniences. Others are deep, painful needs that people will gladly pay to have solved. Learning to tell the difference is one of the most important skills an entrepreneur can develop. Need recognition frameworks help you evaluate whether a problem is real, widespread, and urgent enough to build a business around. One of the most useful frameworks asks 3 simple questions. First, how many people have this problem? Second, how often do they experience it? Third, how much does it cost them, either in time, money, or frustration? If the answer to all 3 questions points to a significant pain point, you're looking at a genuine market need. For example, take the problem of sending invoices as a freelancer. Millions of people deal with it. They deal with it constantly. And getting paid late costs them real money and real stress. That's why so many invoicing tools exist, because the need is massive. On the other hand, if only a handful of people experience something once a year and it barely inconveniences them, you probably don't have a viable business there. This framework also helps you prioritize your energy. Instead of chasing every interesting idea, you focus on problems that score high across all 3 dimensions. But once you've identified a real need, how do you dig deeper to understand it? That's where empathy-based research comes in. Section 3. Empathy-based research. One of the biggest mistakes aspiring entrepreneurs make is assuming they already understand the problem. They think, "This happened to me, so I know exactly what's going on." But your experience is just one data point. And one data point can lead you completely in the wrong direction. Empathy-based research means going directly to the people experiencing the problem and listening, really listening, without trying to sell them anything or prove your solution is right. This includes techniques like customer interviews, observation, and even just shadowing someone through their daily routine to see where the friction actually appears. The goal is to uncover what researchers call the job to be done. People don't buy products. They hire products to do a job for them. When someone buys a blender, they're not buying a blender. They're hiring something to help them eat healthier without spending hours in the kitchen. When you understand the deeper job, you can design a solution that actually fits. During empathy research, you're listening for specific language. Phrases like, "I always have to," "I wish there was a way to," and the most annoying part is, these are golden. They tell you not just what the problem is, but how people experience it emotionally. And emotion drives purchasing decisions more than logic almost every time. The insights you collect from empathy research often surprise even the most experienced entrepreneurs. But after you've gathered that raw information, you still need a way to make sense of it all. And that's what our next section is about. Section 4. Brainstorming and Synthesis Techniques. Raw observations and interview notes are only useful if you can turn them into clear insights. This is where structured brainstorming and synthesis come in, and yes, there's actually a right and a wrong way to brainstorm. One of the most effective methods is called affinity mapping. You take all your research findings and write each one on a separate sticky note, physical or digital. Then you group similar observations together into clusters. Those clusters reveal patterns, and patterns reveal the real underlying needs. Another powerful technique is the how might we question. Instead of stating a problem as a roadblock, you reframe it as an opportunity. Customers hate waiting on hold becomes, how might we make the wait feel shorter or more useful? That simple reframe opens up dozens of possible solutions instead of locking you into one. There's also the classic brainstorming rule that often gets ignored: separate idea generation from idea evaluation. When you're generating ideas, no criticism allowed. Wild ideas are welcome because sometimes a wild idea sparks the practical solution hiding just beneath it. Only after you've generated a list do you start evaluating which ideas are actually feasible. These techniques turn scattered information into structured opportunity. But even the best brainstorm is worthless if you don't validate your ideas before investing heavily in them. And that leads us to our final section. Section 5. Validation before building. Here's a stat that should make every aspiring entrepreneur pause. About 90% of startups fail, and a huge percentage of those fail not because they built something badly, but because they built something nobody actually wanted. Validation is the process of testing your assumptions before you fully commit, and it doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. A simple landing page describing your product can tell you whether people are interested before you build a single feature. A survey, a pre-order campaign, or even just conversations with 10 potential customers can save you months of wasted effort. The goal of validation is to find out if real people will take real action, not, do you like this idea? People are polite. You want to know if they'll click, sign up, pay, or commit in some way. That behavior tells you far more than any opinion does. Entrepreneurs who validate early fail faster, learn faster, and ultimately succeed more often. Because every failed test is a lesson that pushes you closer to something that actually works. So here's your challenge. This week, write down 3 things that genuinely frustrate you. Run them through the need recognition framework. Ask yourself, is this widespread, frequent, and painful enough? You might just be looking at your first business idea. If this video helped you think differently about entrepreneurship, hit the like button. It helps more people find this content. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter breakdown. And drop a comment below with one problem you've always thought deserved a better solution. I read every single one, and your comment might just inspire someone else's future business. See you in the next one.